Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the first session in the Aqeedah series, in the Islamic belief series. And in this series, I'll be looking at the text Aqeedah al Awaam, the masses creed. Yeah, so this is the creed, the beliefs of the mass, of the common people. What is it that a Muslim should believe in? And this is also a basic text, but it is a text that reaffirms what we already should know. And if we don't know, it is something that will teach us some things that will be new that we might not have known previously. This is a text that's in poetry form by the author Sheikh Ahmad alMarzuki al-Maliki al-Makki. So he's a Maliki scholar by the name of Ahmad alMarzuki. He was from the lineage of the Prophet ﷺ through Hassan radiallahu anhu, and he was a poet, well versed in poetry. He was a sha'ir, he was an adabi, he was also well versed in texts, in manuscripts, in Arabic literature, as well as being a hafiz of the Quran, and as well he was Azhari from Azhar University, Jami' al-Azhar in Egypt, and this in Misr, in Egypt. And this was over 200 years ago, so he was born in 1205 after Hijra, and he passed away in Makkah in 1281 after Hijri. Some of his students became muftis of Makkah as well, for example, and he passed away in Makkah. He's buried in the same graveyard as Khadija radiallahu anha, the wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So in this text we'll be looking, which is in poetry form, and what is it covering? Is covering Islamic beliefs, and this is 3 domains that we're looking at. We'll be looking at divinity, about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, about a God, what is the obligatory attributes that we attribute to a God. For some being to be a God, what is it that they must have attributed to them? They must. Those that are impossible to attribute to a God, which would more or less be the opposites, as well as that which is permissible to attribute to a God. Similarly, the next domain is prophethood and nubuwat. We're looking at prophets. What is obligatory for a prophet to have in attributes? What is not obligatory? What is impossible that they can't have? If they're going to be a prophet, they can't have that attribute, which is just again once the opposite, as well as what is permissible. And finally, we're looking at sam'iyat, which is the unseen, and that are those things that we only know because of a truthful person who told us, who knew about it, who came to know about it through revelation, true revelation by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that was the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he told us about Jannah. Otherwise, how would we know about Jannah? The Sirat, the bridge to cross over, the Mizan, and so on and so forth. So this is looked at as sam'iyat, which will be later on in the series. So I begin with the first verse of the poem, and he starts off with أبدأ بسم الله والرحمن وبالرحيم دائم الإحسان. I begin with the name of Allah. I start with the name of Allah, Ar-Rahman, so the merciful. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being merciful, this Ar-Rahman compared to Ar-Rahim, his compassion, this is a more general, whereas this is more specific. So the general is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us out of nothing. He has sent us messengers, He has given us guidance, and so on and so forth. A general thing that to all of creation as well. The mercy that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala descends upon us. But Ar-Rahim is more specific. It is like the breaths we take, how healthy our limbs are, we're able to see, and all our things are working, we are in good health. These are the finer types of kindness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His mercy, His compassion to us. Da'im al-ihsani. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's always in these kindness and benevolence. It never ends, always to us. Allah is the fa'il, He is the doer, the fa'il. If He did not permit us to live this next breath, this next life, this next moment, we would not. So everything is run by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is that source of power, the only power. And then moving on to the second verse. I say second verse because although I show 2 lines, they're more or less the same line. a gap, then the next line, that's how it comes. And then this is the second line. فالحمد لله القديم الأول والآخر الباقي بلا تحول. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's praised by Sheikh Ahmad alMarzuki. فالحمد لله, and alhamd, praise to Allah, it is gratitude that we have sent to Allah. This is now whether He has Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always He's always blessing us with so many blessings and so much kindness and so much His mercy and everything and His benevolence. It's always there. And alhamd is regardless of that, it's that praise is due to Allah, is whether it's for a specific thing that He blessed us with or not. That veneration to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for, and that love for Him and that veneration is at all times. Alhamdulillah ala kulli hal, in all states, praise be to Allah. Al-Qadim, the one who has no beginning. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was therefore the first. He was always there. He is the first. There was nothing that preceded Him, as we will see further on in the text. Wal-Akhir, as He is the first, He is also the last. Huwa al-awwalu wal-akhiru. He is the last, and there's nothing that comes after Him. He is the last. Al-Baqi, the everlasting, and this is the opposite of Qadim. He is without a beginning, and is everlasting without an end, without also in the end a change. So He's Al-Baqi, He's Al-Qadim, and He's Al-Awwal, and He's Al-Akhir. So this is a general quick description of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, covering a lot of things already. We understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, He was always there and He always will be there, and without change. Without changes, that's why we change. Everything Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created, all creation is changing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not that change, that same kind of change. We have things that our bodies, our hairs growing, everything's changing in different ways. We weren't alive. There was no existence of us, and then we became. So we changed from nothing to something. That cannot be attributed to God, that He was nothing and then He became. No, He was always there. So there's the difference, as we will look at more in detail further on as we go into the specific attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in al-uluhiyyat. And I said alhamd just to say the ashukr differs from it. Ashukr is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessing us and we thanking Him on that blessing. Alhamd is whether that blessing comes to us or not, and it always does come to us without a doubt, is always alhamd in every time and every for everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us or not given us, although it's always that He has given us something. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم.